Talking about things that I love, big up ILOVEMAKONNEN. ILOVEMAKONNEN went viral the other day because of this really cool tweet, really cool video, sorry, that he posted. Very wholesome. Made me smile when I saw it. But instantly, the internet and social media does what social media does and completely misinterpreted this, or just, try to use it as a stick to beat him with. So this is a clip of ILOVEMAKONNEN where he posted a clip of himself in the kitchen somewhere of a restaurant, bar, whatever, essentially letting the world know that this is his new vocation, his new fucking career. So let's listen to ILOVEMAKONNEN, legendary artist who most of you know for that fucking viral song back in the day called Tuesday. That was, I think, it then signed on to OVO and he went on to do a bunch of stuff there, but that deal didn't work out, and then he kind of, ended up going other places. But big up ILOVEMAKONNEN. This is a clip that went viral.
I'm literally at work type shit. They got all these people out here, they hungry and shit, They're working, getting this money. You know what I'm saying? If you need me to come guest chef at your motherfucking spot, holla at me. Let me know what city I'm coming through, cooking up. We got the smash burgers going off tonight, I'm tired already though, but I love cooking for the people. So if y'all need me to pull up, let me know where. Tag your establishment. You need a guest cook come through.
So yeah, I really enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed seeing him. He looks in really good spirits. The first thing I noticed when I saw the clip, oh shit, he looks really good. You could tell immediately he's got some fucking blood in his face. He's got some light in his eyes. His hair looks good. Like you can just tell he's in a much better place. Because I remember there was a time and period where he was going through what he was going through with OVO. He was going through what he was going through with his own career, and he was clearly going through it. He was much bigger. He was just stressed out all the time, being very argumentative online, bloody blah blah blah. It just wouldn't stop. It was one thing after the other. But it did feel like he purposely took a big break and kind of cut himself off from the music industry. He doesn't really post much stuff. I still think he's still making music, but you don't really see him, at the front of things anymore. So clearly he's been taking time away and, harnessing or focusing or sharpening his skills as a chef. And so much so that he's employed in certain restaurants, kitchens and stuff to cook up food. And you have to admit, when it comes to being a chef, yes, he's a celebrity and he's well known. He hasn't been well known for a while in terms of star power, but this is not the type of job that you get because you're a celebrity. This is the type of job you get because you're competent. So he for sure demonstrated that he's a good chef, good enough that he can get paid and trusted with a place to kind of run their menu, run their kitchen. And now he's basically, doing what people should do on social media, advertising his services and saying, hey, I'm a chef, you know who I am, you know me from my music, you know me for this and that. If you want to, basically hire me, let me know. And also as a way to kind of update you on what he's up to. So I personally liked it. I loved it. I'm a big believer in people quitting things as well. As much as I like to kind of chase my own dreams and hustle and go for it, I'm a really big believer, especially in the creative world. There is too much of this idea that if you quit something, you've failed. I don't think so. You could not make it in music, then quit and get a regular job. But that doesn't mean you failed in music. That just means you went for something. It didn't quite work out how you wanted it to work out. But you have all these cool memories, cool experience that you did that will live for you forever. And most of the time, in my humble opinion, when you do quit, you'll end up going to a job that you probably would have never gone to if you didn't fucking pursue that little dream. That little dream, that passion that you had on the side, you pursued it and it put you in a different position. It maybe exposed you to a different area, a different, work area and stuff that you can kind of explore, different things that you could do in general. So I don't necessarily think those things are bad. So it is quite encouraging, quite nice to see an artist who decide, yeah, I'm just going to quote unquote quit music and go focus on having a real job, and not just constantly try and enter this rat race of trying to be an artist and it not work out, then get fucking bitter over it. It's not necessary. So big up McKonnen for taking a step away from music, quitting whatever he did, focusing on his craft, focusing on his trade, getting his fucking chef skill up, being employable, holding down a job in the first, which is incredibly hard. I'd imagine for someone like him especially. You'd imagine, being an artist for however long he was an artist, seeing all that fast money and then adjusting to getting a paycheck every month, adjusting to being told what to do, adjusting to be up a certain time, whatever, all this sort. It's probably take a big adjustment for someone that's lived a life where you kind of get, indulged and mollycoddled and shit. So big up him for having the temperament to kind of do that thing. Big up fucking ILOVEMAKONNEN. Now, the thing that I didn't like about the ILOVEMAKONNEN thing was stuff like this. This response courtesy of Yes Jules. Yes Jules saw the clip of ILOVEMAKONNEN going viral where he's in the kitchen, and she posted the following. This is crazy, man. He's way too talented with music to be in a kitchen. So Yes Jules' interpretation of McKonnen working as a chef was that he is above that. His talent makes him above that. He shouldn't have to do that. He should maybe he should kind of try to figure out a way to get back into music, because music is his way out, quote unquote, of working a regular job. And I think this is kind of, you know, loaded and smeared with that contempt that I see a lot of people on social have, especially content creators. They seem to have a lot of contempt for the regular working person, which I always found very bizarre, because if I'm not mistaken, just again, my outside-in observation, it feels like to me, the people who actually pay, you know, who pay these guys wages, who fund their lifestyles, who are kind of there, me included in what I do, the people who actually allow these people to live their life that they live are 9-to-5ers. You know, the majority of their fans are probably 9-to-5. They're the ones that have the disposable income to gift subs, to fucking leave super chats, to just join, watch, whatever they have. So it's really strange to me how there's so many content creators who have a weird sense of contempt for regular people who work a regular job, because this is kind of, you know, dripping in that sort of contempt of like, you're too talented to do this, you should be still doing music. It's like, but he tried and it didn't work out. And Yes Jules should be more aware that the music industry isn't just about being talented. She should be the one that's the most aware, because of the stuff that she's done with artists as well, coming up and stuff. She should know it's just not about talent. If it was just about talent, you know, things would be completely different, but it's not. It's about the full package. It's about external circumstances. Loads of things go into deciding whether or not artists are success or not. Obviously, positioning can help by spending money on a certain budget, but, you know, being a musician or being an artist isn't just about being talented. So although McKonnen did have some talent, it didn't work out for him because, you know, it's not just about talent. So yes, she was saying what she said was disappointing, and also the assertion that, you know, he's above working in the kitchen. No one's above working. No one's above earning a regular wage, a regular paycheck. You should be able to do it in any way, shape or form. It doesn't matter what is requested of you. As a man, you should always be responsible for yourself, to provide for yourself. And if you have kids, if you have a partner and shit, you should take the responsibility of being the main breadwinner and trying to make sure that you are gainfully employed so that you keep a roof over your head. I think that is swaggy. That's gangster. That's cool, in my personal opinion, but I could be wrong. But luckily, a journalist called Z, or Brian Zysok, I think he's a co-founder of AudioMac and something else, he actually reached out to ILOVEMAKONNEN to get his opinion on it, on this whole controversy, on this whole story, and why he basically is working in the kitchen at the moment. So this is a thread courtesy of Brian Zysok. It says, "I'm not embarrassed. I'm just surviving like every human has to. This is what ILOVEMAKONNEN told me when I asked them about the viral video of him in a restaurant kitchen. Everyone shared the clip, but nobody reached out to hear the story until the story behind it until I did." Fred. So let's scroll down. He says, "Earlier this month, a fire devastated a Portland Burn Money studio." Bloody hell, epic name, innit? A fire devastated a studio in Portland called Burn Money Studios, a hub for local artists where McKonnen worked, stole merch, and created art. His kitchen shift was part of the fundraiser to help his community rebuild what they lost. So this place, this studio, got burned down, unfortunately, and ILOVEMAKONNEN, as the great guy that he is, and part of the community, decided to get into the kitchen and chef up things as a, you know, made person to help them raise some money.
We're fucked, dude. But they're building this lovely wall.
And to give back, of course, right? To give back. I wonder how this stuff happens. Are all these fires like natural? Are these fires done on purpose for insurance scams? I wonder how these fires. It always seems like random houses in America always seem to be on fire. Like, I wonder what is that, a climate change thing? Are people just running a hustle? What's going on? I feel like every other day I see someone with a fucking post about some house being on fire, a building being on fire. Anyway, it continues. It says, "But when the video went viral, the internet rushed to judgment. Blogs ran with headlines like about fallen rapper. Why are you shaming me for helping myself?" McKonnen told me by the phone from his home in Portland, where he's spent the last 9. Okay, so he lives in Portland. That makes sense, to be fair. Judging by, you know, his style and stuff, it makes sense that he lives in fucking Portland. Big up my guy, ILOVEMAKONNEN. When the clip went viral, some even dragged Drake into it, as if every chapter of McConnell's life must be explained through the brief working relationship. McConan says, people always tie my story back to Drake, but I haven't had a relationship with him since 2015. That's a shame, by the way. That's a shame that they couldn't be cool. I'm not going to lie. It's a shame that the relationship kind of deteriorated. I'm not actually sure how it ended, but it didn't end on good terms, if I remember correctly. McConnell's not working full-time as a food service businesses. He's actually been quietly releasing new music for the past few years, fully fulfilling contractual obligations instead, and tied to his decade-old co-publishing deal. Jeez, he's still tied in a fucking record deal. Fucking hell. I'd love to keep making art, but the business side, I want out. I never chased a record career, McConan said, now 36. Music was my way out. But once I saw the politics, the egos, and the fake shit, I knew this wasn't for me. Respectfully, I want to remove myself. Now, this is something that was very obvious if you were around during that time that he came up. It was very obvious that he just couldn't handle the music business side of things, the drama, the politics, all that stuff. He just couldn't handle it. So he kind of like shut himself in, shut himself down, and kind of just disappeared. And that was it, you know? No one really heard from him again. So I completely understand that, because it's not for everybody. The music industry is not for everybody. Next post, McConan described the music industry as a place where support evaporates the second you're not hot. The quote, there's no big bros or big sisters checking in. No management, no booking, an agent. Everyone turned their back. Yeah. That's got to be something that I would love to hear from a fucking one-hit wonder. I'd love to hear, like, if you had the opportunity to interview a one-hit wonder, I think a really good question to ask them is like, how does it feel to go from nobody giving a shit about you, then everyone giving a shit about you when the one-hit wonder drops, then when the one-hit wonder starts to fizzle out, suddenly the same people that were acting as if they're going to be your best friends, they won't pick up your call, you haven't seen them, it's just all fucking crazy. So that's the real sad part, you know, of all that sort of stuff. Like, you get a lot of fame, you become successful overnight, you change your life, you change the family, your life of your family, all that shit, but in the end, you're still all on your own when you get dropped. It's fucking crazy. It continues. McConnell continues. The whole of everybody I've known turned their back on me and pretty much said, "Fuck you. We'll come around when you're dead and tell everybody you were a legend." Exactly. We'll cue Jay-Z December 4th. That's a very good point. Everyone says that, innit? People only get their flowers when they're dead and gone. So McConnell continues to hustle. Cannabis sales, middleman deals for local businesses, moving jobs. The only thing that really helps me make me happy is when I can help somebody. I'm not embarrassed by it. It's survival. That's life. No, exactly. And I'm sure when he means help somebody, he means helping yourself. Some of the most depressed moments I've had in life, I think some of you guys in the stream chat can attest to it, as a man, is when you're out of work and you're unable to fucking, you know, look after yourself. There's nothing more depressing as a man than not being able to look after yourself, not being able to pay your rent, not being able to eat food, not being able to do a bunch of things. So yeah, that's a real shame. That's a real fucking shame that people were fucking cussing him out for that sort of shit. I'm not really sure what was going on there. What's that? I heard some sort of sound there. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, continuing on. He's candid about being overlooked, copied, and ignored by peers, but he still feels a responsibility to younger artists. He says, I don't want the next group to give up or feel scared to be themselves. I want to show there's another way. Agree. And here's him with a legendary Lil Peep. If Lil Peep was like, honestly, if Juice WRLD and Lil Peep and XXXTentacion were around today, they would be superstars. When you think about the level that people are at now, right? There's a real lack of, I think, talent in general when it comes to these younger artists. Imagine if those guys were still around. They'd be so clear. They would be the obvious people to take over from like Drake, Kendrick, and Cole and shit, I think. In like a level of stardom. Obviously, Lil Peep isn't a rapper conventional sense. But if Lil Peep, XXXTentacion, and Juice WRLD are still alive today, they would be superstars beyond belief. It'd be fucking incredible how big of a superstar they'd be. Like, could you imagine a Juice WRLD and fucking Bad Bunny tune? How that would go off. God almighty. But yeah. Continues. So no, the viral clip isn't about an artist, quote unquote, falling off. It showcases a man who cares deeply about his community and an artist at heart doing whatever it takes to keep the lights on. There's a good lesson here about assumptions of a 30-second video. Yeah, so it looks like he's not working as a chef. It looks like he's doing a bunch of odd jobs as he's kind of, you know, navigating not being a popping artist anymore and just continually being creative, which I think is cool, which I think is great. That's what you should be doing as an artist. And I think it's also awesome because he's the one that stepped away. I think it would have been different if he was still trying to make it, still trying to recreate Tuesday, be about, try and get signed, you know. But the fact that he's just living life as an artist, like true artist, and just creating for the creating sake, if no one sees it, they don't see it. And then off of that, something good will come of it. I think is the best and purest way to do things. And I think it kind of goes to show that he must be in a very content, mellow, almost zen place that he's in this position now, especially to talk to journalists and clear whatever we need to clear up there. So big up ILOVEMAKONNEN. Great to see. It also goes to show kids as well coming up, you know, that glow up is fucking real, but when reality hits, reality fucking hits as well. And I'm glad to hear he adjusted, because one of the things that's the worst is seeing people that don't adjust, you know, seeing people that don't adjust, seeing people that think the fucking whatever life that they're trying to chase is still going to be there for them in the end. It's not the case. So I'm really happy to see what's panned out there for McConan. Really happy to see how it's panned out there for flipping I Love McConan. Big up him, big up him, big up him.